The Safire Baynesfield Mountain Bike Classic is proudly brought to you by Safire Insurance Company, short-term insurers, long-term partners, with support from Chaka, keeping your braai fires burning. A chilly morning in the Richmond area as flocks of mountain bike riders descend on the Baynesfield estate for yet another edition of the Safire Baynesfield Classic. A quick and painless registration with the rogue officials gives riders plenty of time to warm up and do final bike checks before their racing begins. A new addition to this event is the inclusion of a 10-kilometer trail run. Kicking the day off with a 7:30 a.m. start, the trail runners leave the Baynesfield Club in the beautiful orange glow of the rising sun, making their way through the trees along the district road and out into the single track, carefully prepared by trail guru Nick Flores. In the men's race, it was a tight tussle at the front, with solicitor Mandua holding off Mduzondi to take the win in an impressive time of 36 minutes 17 seconds. In the ladies' race, Nsiki Mbambo was a convincing winner with a 5-minute lead over Alison Wakelin.
The Safire Baynesfield Classic is always a good race to come and do. Being 65 Ks, I think 66 this year, you know, it just tests the legs a bit more than the 40K Classic. And tactically, it's a good way to to find the guys out and the guys who are racing well and the guys who can handle that distance.
A stacked start line with many big names eager to impress at this year's event. A batch makes their way across the Baynesfield Club grounds and out the gate towards the Baynesfield estate. Andrew Hill, Alan Hatherley, Tyron White, and defending champ Brendan Davids are just a few of the big names making up the elite group. Once through the estate grounds, riders cruise over fast-flowing district road and jeep track past the Baynesfield Dam on the base of the Baynesfield Breaker, the steepest and longest climb of the race, with 600 meters of climbing over 10 kilometers. At the top is the King of the Mountain hotspot and a cash prize. Now it is a blistering fast descent on forestry roads and single track until riders meet up with the next big climb of the day up the old Fire Tower Hill. From here, it is single track riding at its best as cyclists head for home and the finish line at the Baynesfield Club.
You know, there's always wide open in the beginning. The pace is always good and hard, but it usually only kicks up really when we start getting the climbs. So the first sort of 15 minutes of racing, there was quite a big group today, and no one was willing to sort of go to the front and pick up the pace because we all knew what was going to happen when we were going up Baynesfield Breaker.
Baynesfield's usually a pretty big event on our calendar. It's one that gives us a lot of coverage as a team, so it's a race we always want to do well at. So yeah, I think I mean, right off from the bat, things were quite mellow from the start. The guys kind of watched each other. There were 1 or 2 attacks, but it was shut down pretty quickly.
So we get the first climb up to the first water point, and Brennan kicks hard, followed his wheel, and I knew I was going to be under big pressure today from the cargo boys. They've just come off their season or come off their racing in Europe, and they're very, very strong. So, and I knew being teammates, they were going to always work me over. So I got that first kicker climb about 10 k's in, and yeah, the pace kicked up. Brennan went, Alan followed me, followed my wheel, and then we got onto the flat section. The group all came back together, probably with about 10 riders, and at the bottom of the Baynesfield Breaker we went again, and that was basically where the race was made from our side.
Andrew Hill from Team TIB Insurance, along with Team Cargo teammates Brendan Davids and Alan Hatherley, make their move and put in a strong attack to try split the field. Tyron White and Stembiso Masongo are working hard to keep the leaders in sight.
Up the Baynesfield Breaker, that was where the group started to split up. It was me, Andrew and Brendan Davids, my teammate. 3 of us managed to get away.
When we got to the Baynesfield Breaker, I tried to put in an attack, but unfortunately I suffered a mechanical right at the base of the climb. And myself and Alan had kind of planned to 1-2 the whole way up until we'd whittled the group down. So unfortunately I had to chase back, and I burnt a lot of matches trying to get back across to the bunch. And as soon as I got back across, the front split was already starting to happen. So yeah, I'd gone a bit deep a bit early on. Fortunately, when Andrew started upping the pace, Alan was able to cover it. I sat back for a while, I needed to recover. Like I said, I'd burnt a lot of matches trying to get across to the guys. So yeah, Alan then put in an attack to get the King of the Mountains, and he was actually out of sight for a while, which was good. I was quite happy to just sit Andrew's wheel and let the race unfold. When you suffer from any form of mechanical, whether it's a puncture or a snap chain or anything, you've got to try to stay as calm as possible, because once you start panicking, you end up making it worse. You panic, you drop your spares, or you break something else while trying to fix it. And yeah, like today, I just stayed calm when the first one happened and fixed it, got going again, and yeah, you just got to dig a little bit deeper to get back on. And I mean, it all comes with experience. But yeah, it's just like I said, you've got to stay calm and not let it affect your race too much. Sometimes it's difficult, especially at a high-profile event. But yeah, I mean, it's just part and parcel of what we do sometimes.
My name is Miles van Deventer. I'm the Managing Director of Baynesfield Estate. Baynesfield Estate is a 9,300 hectare estate that was created and developed by a gentleman called Joseph Baines, who died in 1925. He died without any heirs, and he left the estate in a trust to be managed by a board of trustees to continue to develop the estate and also to carry out certain philanthropic objectives. One of the other objectives is to beautify the estate, and we spend a lot of time and effort in doing that. And That's why we like to involve and encourage mountain biking events where we can share that beauty and that experience in Baynesfield Estate. There's a lot of farmlands and arable lands that they cycle around. There's also a lot of hill work and timberland, timber forest that they're progressing. There's some beautiful single track that the guys have put a lot of effort into in creating. Over the years, we've developed a relationship with Safire Insurance where they've held the race on Baynesfield Estate. And we work well with the team from Safire Insurance, and we find them a professional outfit. And we look forward to many more years working together with them on this race.
Safire is a niche public insurance company on the short-term space, and mountain biking is obviously a niche sport and is a very much an outdoor activity, and one of our niche areas is forestry and the agricultural sector, so it fits very nicely in that space. And it's also nice to support the local communities. On a day like today, we've had parents coming out with their kids. It's a fun family day, Father's Day this next weekend. And it just fits our company profile very nicely, and we like to give back to the communities that support us. I'd specifically like to thank NCT Forestry. This is their estate, or managed by NCT, it's the Baynesfield estate, and it's great for us to be involved with them, and they've been a loyal client of ours, and we'd just like to thank them for all the effort that they've put in here today.
While the 65-kilometer riders were out in full force enjoying trails and marveling in the beauty of the area, the rest of the entrants were back at the Baynesfield Club on the start line, raring to go. Top junior riders in the 45-kilometer race, as well as families and youngsters in the 20-kilometer event, are getting ready to tackle the daddy of all races. Joshua Nelson showing his dominance over the 45-kilometer field in this early stage of the race. Brendan Davids is looking in full control after having bridged the gap and caught up to Hatherley on the descent from the top of the Baynesfield breaker. The teammates are now working together to extend the gap over third place Andrew Hill. Hill knows from past experience that closing down the lead at this stage of the race is almost impossible, but that only serves to fuel his determination. Making light work of the final climb, Davids and Hatherley crest the top of the old Fire Tower Hill and head straight into forestry single track.
Obviously now being first year under 23, the training block is a lot bigger than it was last year, and it definitely does give me that little extra kick to get that endurance, to get to the end. But definitely going according to what I did last year with the 45, the 65 was definitely a lot tougher. Didn't really understand how long that Baynesfield breaker was until now, but yeah, really awesome route. The single track was superb, and yeah, it was really fast, good race. We'll definitely be back here next year.
I took quite a few risks on the descent, managed to bridge across to Alan, and yeah, from there on it was kind of myself and him. By the time we hit the second climb, we had a pretty good gap. We couldn't really see Andrew. We are cross-country specialists, so the 65k distance does kind of stretch us a little bit, especially when we get closer to that 2-hour mark. It's, our races are usually only probably an hour and a half at maximum. So when we got to around the hour 45 mark, we both started to, I could sense that we were both starting to feel it a little bit. But I urge Alan to keep pushing on, and that we just keep working together. And yeah, unfortunately, with about 10 or so k's to go, I made a small mistake and suffered a puncture, but I quickly managed to fix it and got going again. And yeah, fortunately, I managed to catch Alan with about 2 k's to go, and I just said, look, we've got to keep going. It would be really good for the team to get a 1-2.
Put your hands together. Brendan Davids taking the big win today at the 65 kilometre, the daddy of all races, the Safire Baynesfield Classic.
Brendan Davids defends his title closely, followed by his teammates and last year's 45-kilometre junior winner Alan Hatherley.
I'm really happy that the team managed to pull off a 1-2, and with myself, I'm quite ecstatic. It's my third win here, so yeah, I mean, I couldn't ask for a better day for the team.
Yeah, the last 20k's really got to me. Obviously being a cross-country specialist, it definitely did play a role. It was just a matter of maintaining, just to hold out for as long as I can, and yeah. And then it was basically all the way until this last straight up the road here, where Brendan managed to get the extra edge and take the win for the day. But yeah, good result for the team with a first and second.
Andrew Hill rolls across the finish line to grab the last place on the podium for 2015. Taking a look at the leaderboards for the men's 65-kilometre race shows the top 10 all finishing within 10 minutes of first place Brendan Davids, with 4th through to 10th separated by mere seconds, showing the intense competitiveness at this year's event. Jeannie Bomford takes an emphatic victory in the women's category with a massive 15 minutes between her and last year's winner Natalie Bergstrom. With equal prize money for both the men's and ladies' races, the Safire Baynesfield Mountain Bike Classic continues to attract this country's top athletes year after year.
Yeah, the vibe of these races, the local races, is always great. And there's big numbers that come to the race, and it's not just your elite riders up front who are racing for points and for for money up front. It's your general guys behind there, and they're the guys that really make up the sport and make up the numbers. So from the 65 to the 45, 20, 10K, the trail run today, it's a really great event to encompass everyone and bring the whole family to an event. There's far too many sports out there that are individual that you can't really bring the whole family to, but mountain biking just does that. You can bring everyone here. You can experience the vibe of the finish. There's great coffee. There was, there's bikes stands, there's bike displays. There's just a really good energetic vibe at the finish line.
And the situation's gonna take its time, but bombers are heading towards you. So batten the hatches, squadrons and batches, bodies will enter the ground. Whoa, whoa, she won't hear a sound. Whoa. Time is dead, I don't ever wanna go to bed. She's hanging for a good time. Her body's red, wrap the pieces of a wounded head. It'll drown out the sound. We're hanging close, faded daddy from a bloody nose. Streets shed by their own light. Her brakes were mended so she won't have to go pretend.
In the 45-kilometre race, it was top junior rider Joshua Nelson who cruised to the finish. After a strong start, he never looked back and powered his way to an 8-minute victory over Dean Wortman and Devon Smith. In the ladies' 45-kilometre, last year's winner Frankie du Toit closed down the competition and waltzed home in 2 hours and 4 minutes to retain her title. In the 20-kilometre event, Travis Steadman squeaks home ahead of Devon Bed and Nathan Andrew in the boys section. Megan Bircher tops the girls race with Sabine Thies and Chloe Bateson completing the podium.
No, it was another fantastic day. In fact, it was a perfect day. I mean, the weather's been unbelievable. There have been some slight tweaks to the route, which really rode well today. We've had record numbers out here again. We've been involved here for 7 years now, and it just keeps getting better and better every year. So we're very, very happy to be associated with the Baynesfield Classic, and we'll continue to be involved in the future. So I'd just like to thank our sponsors, other sponsors that have been involved. I'd specifically like to make mention of Charcoal, which is the premium charcoal brand of briquettes and charcoal in the country. And there's a close association with Safire, which has been great because we're on a sustainability drive. And when our plantations burn, we want to get maximum utilization of that wasted plant material, and we use that in the charcoal and briquette manufacturing process. So that obviously improves on sustainability. And they've kept our fires burning today, and that's been great from their side, and we really appreciate their involvement.
2015, another great event at the Safire Baynesfield Mountain Bike Classic. This year, the daddy of all races took place a week before Father's Day, and firstly a big shout out to Nick Flores, who's a dad this week, baby Alexis. Thanks Nick, thanks for getting out here today and sorting the trails out, greatly appreciate that. Then to Jowitz, to Team Safire, all my team who put in hours and came here today on basically a Sunday and helped out on the tables. Really do appreciate it. Thank you guys. To the Baynesfield Club and the state itself, Miles, you guys did a fantastic job. I think it was a great year. Me personally, I was slightly underdone, but I'm looking forward to next year, 2016.
This is me and my brother Liam, and it was a really nice ride out there today. I enjoyed it and I look forward to it next year.
Another successful record-breaking Safire Baynesfield Mountain Bike Classic draws to a close as families gather to watch prize giving and celebrate our new champions. We hope to see you on the start line in 2016 for the daddy of all races. The Safire Baynesfield Mountain Bike Classic was proudly brought to you by Safire Insurance Company. Short-term insurers, long-term partners. With support from Chaka, keeping your braai fires burning.